Hey guys, All in Crypto here, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for another YouTube video. This is going to be your daily cryptocurrency market update. It is the 26th of the 1st, 2023, and for those of you that are new here, every single day we release content on the cryptocurrency market, and every single day at 1 p.m. UK time, we release a daily cryptocurrency market update where we not only look at the crypto space, some of the news surrounding it, the price, we use Bitcoin as a kind of barometer to weigh up the wider crypto space and where it's going and where it's heading. But we also look at the sort of macroeconomic landscape and where the cryptocurrency market finds itself in. So before I start, guys, if I can ask you to do me a massive favor, smash that like button, leave a comment for the algorithm. And if you're not already subscribed, please do so. It helps me get what I believe is valuable content out to the masses. And, I certainly think there's a lot more value in this content than the typical YouTube content creator. So anyway, let's get on with the video, guys. We've got some pretty significant news that I've not seen anybody else cover as of yet, and it's to do with $1.48 billion in Bitcoin options expiring tomorrow. So there's going to be $1.4 billion worth of options that are going to be settled. In this case, meaning the underlying asset is either going to be bought or sold as these options come to maturity, taking place tomorrow. So we're going to look at what connotations this may have on Bitcoin. You guys will know that we've been tracking, and we actually, for the first time in a year nearly, bought crypto on or around the 5th of January, where I held a discussion with my Patreon members and essentially said, look, we've kept everybody out for a long time now, and this is the first time where I've actually felt like putting money back into the crypto space. Anybody who wants to stay up to date with that, you are welcome to join my Patreon. There's a link in the description. It's for more of your sort of serious investor who's really looking to get things right in regards to crypto, and we've been doing a pretty good job of it thus far. But actually yesterday there were certain coins we didn't pick up at the start of the month that we actually thought, you know what, we're gonna maybe put an allocation in actually yesterday morning. And I released this tweet at a similar sort of time. It says, as much as I'd like this to happen so I can predict the market's every move, this was just an idea. It was playing out so far in regards to it having a pullback. But logged onto Twitter this morning and all the big crypto accounts talking about a pullback. Send it. Too many people want a retracement. So we were essentially saying that we thought Bitcoin was going to get sent yesterday. And that actually was the case. So this is your daily candle. We opened the day here. This is how, just for anybody that's not familiar, guys, and then we're going to get into some of the news. And we'll also be doing a bit of macroeconomic or giving a bit of a macroeconomic outlook. How a candle works is it's a green candle if you open or close higher than you open. It's a red candle if you close lower than you opened. So this was your daily candle yesterday, and everybody was very pessimistic. This is a very hated rally, and the reason we thought it was going to continue to rally and you were going to get a rally out of yesterday was because of just how many people didn't want this to rally. You still have the majority of crypto YouTube, crypto Twitter, and the people following these guys. Remember, we read the parable from the richest man in Babylon, where we said, do not go to the brickmaker to buy jewels. Do not go to content creators for investment opinions. That's what you're doing on YouTube. We've hopefully proved ourselves as an investor, and also we create content, but it's something we're very passionate about and don't really have any obligations to do. But essentially, too many people calling for downside, and we said, actually, you're going to get a rally, and it's going to get sent, and it did indeed. So the daily candle started here. You went down here. So it went from about 22,600 all the way down to 22,300. And I saw the people in fear because we've been beaten and pulverized over the past year with the bear market. And essentially you could have just shorted any rally and it would have worked. There's always that worry comes back around into people's minds. So this had people very, very worried, but we were very confident in what we said. And the price then did a whopping 6% in one day. It went from 22,300 just in time for everybody to start making thumbnails that were bearish, calling for crashes and so on and so forth, and attracting the scared investor. We are teaching you guys to be warriors and have thinking behind why you're investing so that when you get pullbacks, you're okay with it because it's been scenario forecasted and you're not too into a position. There's real value in what I'm doing in my Patreon, guys, in terms of teaching people how to be investors and if nothing else, an emotional and mental benefit. But then this got sent. So you got a lot of people, and why this got sent with such volatility, even though it wasn't very convincing. Look at the wick. The reason this went up in the manner that it did was very simply because of how many people were trying to short this. You're at this level that is worth shorting for most people, and over the past year, you've been able to do that with pure success. I saw even big accounts that were trying to short the S&P and the NASDAQ get wrecked yesterday because everyone's shorting things. And this is the thing. You're right until you're wrong. And we flipped non-bearish on the 1st of January, but we were discussing it prior. And that's paid us so far. And we've said you need to be humble in front of the markets. Yes, we could be wrong. But, you know, thus far, we've not done a bad job. So this got sent. And I actually think that Bitcoin's going to continue to go up. I think it's going to have moderate pullbacks. But over my outlook for the next potentially 3 to 6 months is that Bitcoin's going to be higher than where it is today, and altcoins are going to be significantly higher. Otherwise, we wouldn't have dipped our toes back into the crypto space at the start of the month. So this is interesting. Although you did get a lot of sell pressure, so it was more shorts getting liquidated, not necessarily buyers and accumulators coming in. However, and we'll talk maybe a bit more broadly about Bitcoin, you know, because this could be the bottom. We could have on the 5th spoken and looked to buy literally here, which could have been pretty much the bottom. So we're not saying, and I'm not necessarily saying we bought the bottom. What I am saying is I bought at an area where I saw value. But if you look historically where Bitcoin's bottomed, it's been here for the RSI. Now, we were highlighting this bullish div for the RSI. We think bullish divergences on a weekly time frame as well as bearish are not to be messed with. But look at what's happened. You know, you can see, I need to get rid of my face, guys. Apologies for that. You can see what I'm talking about here. Could it be the bottom? Maybe. It depends on this sort of event that we've been talking about potentially taking place. But that typically doesn't happen until the yield curve is inverted. You know, you may get further rally and then you get this slam and it maybe takes you here. Or maybe it takes you down here. You know, that's why we're not calling a perfect bottom here. We're saying until proven, we don't know. We're not one of these people that are going to promise you something that we can't, you know, say with certainty. But what I can say is we took action. And ultimately, I do think my outlook for Bitcoin is I certainly see it getting to 27, potentially higher. We've filmed yesterday a fantastic interview with Francis Hunt, the market sniper. That'll be released on the weekend, likely Sunday during the day, so you guys have all day to watch it. Please go and give that a watch because we talk about the dollar and a number of things that I don't want to get into today. So let's talk about the $1.4 billion in Bitcoin options that expire. So what is an option? First of all, an option is a derivative of an underlying asset. It's basically often comes in the forms of puts and calls. So a put is basically let's not get too technical. Longs and shorts, basically, right? So if you are shorting an option, or if you want to go short on something, you can do it for an option, which basically what you're saying is you think the price is going to go down, and you can have different time periods for options. Or you go long and you say you think you want to take out a 3-month long, and you think the price is going to be higher. And those options value depends on where it's going. But with these options that have a time expiry attached to them, they're derivatives of the underlying asset. It's almost an agreement that that asset that you're either longing or shorting is sold or bought on the date of the expiration. And tomorrow, you have $1.4 billion worth of Bitcoin options expiring. And Bitcoin's actually not in such a bad place right now. So the really important question with these options is, are they shorts or longs? So they've kind of waffled on quite a lot here. Bitcoin's latest rally on January the 20th caught bears by surprise. Yep. As a mere 6% of put sells options for the monthly expiration have been placed above 22,000. So put sells, calls are long, puts are shorts. Thus, bulls are better positioned, even though they are nearly 40% of their calls by options at 23 or higher. So this is interesting. I don't really want to complicate it too much for people. But this is calls, which is longs, and puts, which is shorts. So calls and longs, open interest, right? So you can see there are more shorts, meaning they will have to be forced buyers, then there are longs. So you've sold Bitcoin and you're betting on buying it back at a cheaper price. That's how the puts work, right? Whereas the calls have bought and they're selling at a later date. So there's more buyers in this $1.4 billion dollars than there are sellers coming up tomorrow. If that makes sense. Hopefully I've not overcomplicated that. Options, there's books on options there that I can recommend that are fantastic to read. It's lots of people in the crypto aren't quite traditional financial guys and go into these crypto content creators. They're never going to learn anything because these guys, I mean, we brought up the RSI, right? I can tell you exactly what the RSI is tracking and the formula that backs it. Where's my... Here, guys. This is an amazing book for anybody that's interested in trading. Yep, it's called The Book of Volume, and they go into option. They do explain options, but they go into all the different indicators and what they mean. If somebody's using an RSI, they should be able to tell you what it represents. Okay, these guys just haven't got a bloody clue what they're on about. So basically, this is a sort of simplified explanation. Each option has an expiration date, which is when the contract expires and ceases to exist, and a strike price if the contract is exercised, is the underlying security is bought or sold at the option's strike price. So there's going to be more Bitcoin being bought tomorrow through this $1.4 billion than there is sold. How does the price work? Well, the price goes up if there's more buyers than sellers. That's very simple. Price is always determined on the day. It's why this kind of hodl mentality, you know, you are affecting the price in terms of there may be a liquidity crunch in terms of not being enough to sell. Anyway, we're getting off topic. So this is super interesting news. I'll leave a link to this in the description. This could further Bitcoin, and I think actually this rally has every reason to continue. You will get a pullback at some point, whether it's here, and you do something like this, you come and test off this, come back up, and you got this broader head and shoulders. We speak about this with a market sniper and this kind of idea of nestled head and shoulders. That's coming out soon. You know, we're not calling for it going back here, but I can see 30K getting taken. And at that point, all your bears that have been... And we saw most big channels flip bearish after FTX crash. Whereas we kept you out here, we kept you out here, we kept you out here, and we bought back here. Or at least a portion. Get in that Patreon, guys. If you can afford it, it's well worth it. You know, try it out for a month. If you don't like it, leave. There's no sort of contractual obligation to continue to have to pay every month. If it's not for you, it's not for you. Let's talk a little bit about the macro. The ECB central bank says it will stay the course on rate hikes, but it's not clear for how long. So we'd speculated, and isn't this funny? We've done a lot of sort of cross-market analysis, and we're one of the only people that were looking at the 2-year yields. We said this is top, guys, and it's topped at 4.8. Now the Fed fund rate follows the 2-year yields. So we've always said, you know, you can see here, this is back in 2018, 2000, the dot-com boom. The housing boom and bust, 2000 and the dot-com boom. The 2-year yields for the US follows, or the Fed funds follows the 2-year yields in the US. And we said, look, rates aren't going much higher than 4.8, so now we can actually look to start to price in forward-looking cuts. And this is what's happening. You know, we have cuts being priced in at the end of this year, going into 2024. And the ECB is now also going, okay, we're going to stick to getting our rates up and catching the sort of Fed and everybody up and trying to bring inflation back in line, even though it's coming down. But we're not sure how long we're going to do that for, whereas they were literally at one point saying, we're going to continue to do it at least for the rest of this year and onwards. And Lagarde came out and said, I think markets underpricing interest rates. So there's kind of hawkish or dovish pivot across the board, which is putting attention back on risk and is all very correlated with why we're rallying. It's just, I mean, I love all this stuff, guys. I don't know whether you can tell or hear the excitement in my voice when I'm talking about what is typically, to most people, boring things like finance. But finance is how they keep you in a form of financial bondage and slavery. And ultimately, you know, we're trying to help people sort of break free from that. And Bitcoin front ran rate hikes, and I believe it's going to front run rate cuts. So that's all I've got for you in this video, guys. Please smash that like button. Please hit that subscribe button and notification bell. consider joining the Patreon if you can afford it and if you think it's for you and you want to take this really seriously. And on top of that, guys, I am going to love and leave you a comment. Always helps the algorithm out. See you in the next YouTube video. Thanks a lot for watching, ladies and gents.